Howdy! Hopefully everyone is in for a root toot tootland time, and we are welcoming you, of course, back to EML Premier 1. We are here tonight for Season 4. It is round 9. It's the United States Grand Prix. I hope you haven't gone anywhere. My name is James Head. Alex the G, of course, alongside me in the commentary box. And Alex, hopefully, take 2 will work.
Yeah, I really hope so. Welcome back also from my side, of course. And why do we need to take 2? It's just, yeah. The game goes in very weird directions sometimes, but oh well, we've only got one driver left to join the lobby, so yeah, hopefully this will work in time. We're only 9 minutes late actually, thankfully, so it could be worse, but at the same time, yeah, we will see. It's certainly going to be very interesting, and as was said earlier already, only 2 rounds to go. I'm curious as to how this is going to go.
So am I. First of all, by the way, let's just blame everything that happened on Markedos, because he did crash the lobby, unfortunately. The TF10 man is going to be getting the check, I am sure, from Codemasters in terms of their servers, as a result of us having to restart, which should be coming at around €50, I think, for Markedos coming his... he has to owe to us €50 after the crash, of course, in terms of the server. But if you are just tuning into this and expecting, of course, the race to begin, it hasn't begun just yet. We're going to get into World Short qualifying very soon indeed. Aurelian there in the chat saying Chazoo for the win, which is... and Aurelian actually did a very good performance actually last night. He nearly did the ultimate overtake around the outside at turn number 1 at Hungary on 2 cars, might I add, as well, which was absolutely incredible. I don't think it was covered on the live stream, but Aurelian did a fantastic job last night in Legacy Division. Hopefully, though, take 2 is going to happen. We are only 10 minutes late. I mean, only 10 minutes late. We're going to make up for lost time. I am absolutely guaranteed of that. You can blame it on Markedos. You can blame it on good old German Wi-Fi, I think, as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
No spoilers yet. No, just, yeah.
Oh no. Do not say you're going to have to restart the lobby again.
No. It's fully relating to the session itself, and this is interesting as hell.
Don't say it's going to rain.
Just look at your screen very shortly.
Oh my god.
Oh, what a quality session we've got.
I mean, I was literally saying to Alex as well before we came live, I would love a bit of rain around here. Within the race, I said. Not within qualifying. I hate the rain here in qualifying, but it is full wet conditions. And that is going to be a big, intriguing thing. And we could see, potentially... I'm looking at wet weather specialists. Kazizel's normally quite quick in the wet. Tom normally quite quick in the wet. Stefano, I think, struggles in the wet. And along with Devon, who I think is quite quick, could be quite open. I'm looking immediately the TF10 boys, Markedos and Nuth. Nuth, I know, loves intermediate conditions. I'm not sure about full wets. I know Nuth has done very well in qualifying in PSGL in intermediate conditions this season. Markedos, however, in PSGL F1, I think does also like the conditions. So TF10, for me, might just be the favourites in the session coming in tonight. But then again, 17 minutes worth of qualifying will decide that all.
I feel like this has obviously thrown it all wide open. I've seen from past experience as well in CTC, actually, that on the GSP side we have a very, very strong wet weather driver, but he's not on the lineup today. That would be Dadopat, who has raced already earlier in the season. He would have been probably a surprise shot at something very, very good. But first of all, who is that heading on the track? It's Stefano, one of the drivers you mentioned, is perhaps not as strong in these conditions. And for all I know, this session is going to be very, very interesting. And the fact that drivers are going out on full wets means perhaps that this rain is even going to stick around towards the end.
Yeah, I know, where was it we had full wet conditions? I think it was in France. I'm not sure if it was it PSGL, I think, F2 this season? I might be making that up, it might have been last season, but we certainly had full wet conditions around there, and I certainly remember Stefano struggling within those conditions, and as well with that session, 10 minutes into the session, the rain didn't relent. The rain does not disappear very quickly, especially around a track like this. I mean, look at the spray. That's being kicked up on the left-hand side of the Ferrari, coming down through turn 11 and now down the straight and towards turn number 12. There's no dry line out on track. There's puddles on the outside of the track as well, which is going to cause a bit of chaos. And judging by some of the slowness coming through the first sector, drivers are really struggling through that part, and that S section is going to catch you out, as will the final sector, I think, around here. Stefano, though, the first man out on track. Let me know in the comment section who you are going to think for pole position. Oliver's saying as well, he learnt this track 24 hours ago on dry. How will this go? Hopefully very well for the TTG man there down in 18th. And Diamond there in the chat. Maybe switching allegiances tonight, saying TF10 1-2. Don't think FER will like that.
Oh, definitely not. I think that's... Well, controversial is obviously a bit too strong for this, but at the same time, you should really be on the top and rooting for your team, as Stefano will be the first to start a lap for FVR, quite fittingly. And I'm very, very curious. I tried to work out with the straight line speeds what kinds of setups these drivers would be running, but I couldn't work it out just yet, so we're going to just have a look. In this lap here, heading into turn 1, this uphill braking is so difficult in the dry, let alone in full wet conditions. And you can see the understeer already. I mean, this is so tough for the drivers.
That was an ultimate lock-up coming through turn number 1, and again coming out outside of turn number 2. I'm assuming he's got a full dry setup on, because he would not be this oversteery, I think, in these wet conditions if he had a full wet setup on. And coming through turn 6 now, and then into the left-hander of turn number 7. First sector split is 5 seconds off dries around here. 30 flat in the first sector from Stefano. Already 5 seconds slower than the dry compound tyres around here, and he's fighting the car again. Twisting and tailing coming out of turn number 10 and then down into the left-hander of turn number 11. He has got a little bit of a McLaren in front of him out on track, so might get a little bit of slipstream if he is very lucky. And I think that is, of course, of one of the ET8 members, if I'm not mistaken. Might be Rodadol ahead of him out on track. Stefano coming down in towards turn number 12 now. It has looked a very, very decent lap, though, from his perspective in the context of full wet conditions. And looking already down in towards turn number 12, we're 10 seconds off, basically, coming into this middle sector split. We're 10 seconds off. Even the best middle sectors, I think, around here in the dries. And by the time we get to the end of the lap, it's going to be more like 14, 15 seconds off the pace compared to dry compound tyres. But Stefano managing this really well, coming to the left-hander of turn number 15 and then in towards Verstappen corner at 16, 17, 18. Famously, of course, where he overtook off track on Kimi Räikkönen to get the podium and then got absolutely tossed off the podium as well by Räikkönen, and he finished there in P4 in the end in 2018 as Stefano now comes in towards the final couple of corners and comes on the run towards the line. In fact, actually, it's going to be more than 15 seconds on the run to line. Stefano to the line. It's a 151.299. Not a bad lap there at all from Stefano. How on earth that's going to end up towards the end of the session, goodness only knows.
And it's also important to note there's not going to be many laps from the drivers at all here, because such a slow lap time. Yuri goes into second there with a 51.5. There's not many shots the drivers have got to even get a lap time right at all. I think we've got rotation now. We're getting some actually very good rotation at the final corner, just behind Yuri, so close. 1/100th of a second on such a long lap, and now Devon makes it an early FVR 1-2. So is this something to maybe behold in this session? Car Racer now tops this by 4/10 for NLR. Maybe a driver that we shouldn't be really missing out on. But at the same time, Knut another 4/10 in this, and this is the time differential you can see on these wet conditions.
Markedos, I think, is going to go quicker than Nuth as well. 50 flat, 4/10 quicker than Nuth. Brilliant lap, even though we made a mistake out of turn number 19 there, as I rode on board with him. Markedos out on top, Nuth there in second, Car Racer there in third. Good evening to PGS Benny, by the way, who's in the chat. Of course, our go-to TTG team manager, now, of course, PGS team manager as well. Fantastic to be working alongside him as we move forward. Hopefully, as well as on League Racing TV, there's a few discussions I'm going to be having behind the scenes with regards to the future of League Racing TV, and certainly from a commentary's perspective from my end as well. But Markedos out on top, Nuke there in second, Car Racer there in third. Atesh has just started up on a run. Phoenix as well. He'll be rising like a Phoenix potentially to try and get a lap time in. They're down in 20th position. Grosjean has already invalidated. Kazizel, normally quick in the wet conditions. Let's see what his middle sector is like. Markedos was a 112.8 and Kazizel's middle sector 113 flat, and actually not too far off. Nuth, I think, was a 13 flat through the middle sector, so Kazizel very, very low gears actually carried through there, through turn 13, 14, and in towards 15. And because this has looked a little bit oversteery, I've got to be honest though, he is minimising the traction lovely, and this is his karting experience telling.
Oh yes, indeed. This is very, very important here, and he knows his stuff. We know it, of course. PSGLF1 is very, very much a statement, and now let's see, does he go wide through here? There's a Ferrari who went wide early, and he backs off. And yeah, is citing expectance of traffic ahead? Not too sure. Maybe he's just done another lap to warm tires, but I don't expect it. So let's have a look now. Skyline, first man into the 14.9s. Virtual Insanity Racing looking good there. Knut has actually had a spin out of, what is that, turn 16?
15.
So, 15, sorry. And yeah, it's now looking to recover this. Currently P4, but a lot of lap time still yet to be set. Atesh is one of the marketers, now going top by 600. Atesh then invalidates on the entry to turn 19. What a shame. And he's going to need to get another one down.
Definitely so. Stefano on a lap as well. He's 2.5 tenths up through the first sector split on the run down and towards turn number 12. But Marcado's leading from Stefano there in second, Yuri there in third in this qualifying session. Big snap of oversteer, I think, from a McLaren coming through turn number 12 there. As you've seen something in the S section?
Yeah, I'm looking particularly at Kazizel here. He's pushing so hard. It's the epitome of pushing I've seen so far. Kazizel so on the limit, and it's still half the session to go here. And this is going to be looking very interesting. Keke's gone fastest, meanwhile, for NLR. Currently about a tenth ahead of Marketos. Let's have a look now at this braking zone for Kazizel. Currently only P11, but there is more time in there. Misses the apex slightly. Also got the Aston Martin close ahead of him. But look at the improvement. 4 tenths up. He's backed off again.
He has. He must be going for track evolution more than anything else, and that's what Stefano, I think, is going for as well. He's going to be slower, I think, than Keke towards the final couple of corners. He might go ahead of Devon if he's lucky, just go shy of him, actually, 400ths of a second, separating them in the end. But multiple drivers are getting multiple lap times in. Kazizel has backed off, as you mentioned, coming through 16, 17, and 18. He has got his teammate behind him, which I don't really get. He could have easily let his teammate through. They could have worked together then to go on alternate runs. Kazizel, though, definitely not coming in the pit lane. Tom's not doing the same either. So I think the Shazoo teamwork in order, maybe to go for the slipstream rather than anything. That will gain an extra 5-6 tenths per second down and towards turn one. And actually, Tom, speaking of which, goes 49.1 and absolutely obliterates what I've just said. 49.1 ahead of Keke, 7 tenths clear of him. Markador's there in third, I think, is on a lap as well, but he's invalidated. Keke, I think, was improving in the middle sector. I see purple on my screen through the middle sector, so Keke's looking quick.
Keke's looking pretty quick here indeed. I've heard earlier from him that Tom was doing 31.8 in dry practice, which of course gone thrown completely out of the window now with these conditions. But Keke, a quick driver, we know. The qualifying trim is a bit of a problem. Big snap of oversteer, he catches it. Very good to hold on to it. The Williams with number 7. Where will he put it? Oh, almost invalidating there wide, but stays in P2, improving by about 4 tenths. He's lost a bit of time in the final sector, but he won't be too fussed for the moment. Current front row for NLR.
Goodness me, Keke giving me nearly a heart attack, I think, coming through the final couple of corners there. NLR man there in second. Oh, big snap of oversteer from Rodadal coming through 16. Got caught on the white line, I think, on the curb and just flung him completely off camber of the corner. He's on an 18th, and again, coming out of turn 19, he's back in the pit. So Rodadal is coming back into the pit lane. I wonder if that is actually realising if the rain is easing. And looking to me, the rain doesn't look like it's easing at the minute. But I see a bit of cloud cover beginning to lift above the circuit, and that normally means on this game we should see intermediate compound tyres at least. And I mean, running above with Gustav, visibly it looks a lot, well, it looks lighter, the rain out on track, as Gustav swings his way coming through 7 and 8 and then towards turn number 9. The rain does look on board with the McLaren, looking to be a little bit. My God, he's absolutely squirreling his way down the hill through turn number 10. But yeah, the rain is now beginning to ease off, I think, out on track, and that will mean we should see the crossover period between wet and inters very soon indeed, and that is why I think majority drivers are coming in for, obviously, a set of intermediate compound tyres.
What I'm thinking is, how much will the rain ease off, though? Will the intermediates really be the faster tyre, or will it be a thing of commitment, of bravery under the brakes, for example? Because it will be so easy to lock up if the conditions stay near this. But if it is faster, if they can make it work, we will see major improvements still. The Shazoo 1-2, by the way, it is right now, as Kazizel has gone second. In the meantime, he's really been driving the wheels off that AlphaTauri, getting ahead of Keke, but stops in behind his teammate. ET8 Gustav currently a driver on a fast lap, 12.5. Heading into the final sector, the only 2 drivers without a lap time so far. The ET8 boys, my word, the oversteer into turn 19. That was very, very committed there. And Gustav is certainly meaning business with this lap. Where can he slot that McLaren? He is on the limit, and he shows it. P5.
Wow.
At the exact same time as Atesh, but a very, very good lap.
And 8,000's clear of Markadors and 700's clear of Skyline at the end of the day as well. Very impressive lap from Gustav. That is the track evolution. That was on a first lap, by the way, on that sort of wet compound of tyres. Markadors, by the way, came out of the pit lane and opted for a set of wets. Same with rotation. Riderdals came out of the pit lane and has also gone for a set of wet compound tyres. So clearly what I'm saying about the weather improving looks visibly like there's less spray on the track. That is for sure.
Yeah.
It looks visibly that it's getting not drier, but even now, Riderdal coming on board with him, the rain is beginning to ease off, and with 5 minutes to go on the session, it is going to be a real case, I think, of last across the line will get pole position, and that's what I'm thinking this session will end up in.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's raining much less right now. Like, in this last few seconds or so, the transition has been massive, and there's barely any rain, really. It's just the puddles that have to clear a lot. I think Gustav, again, is heading for a lap at the moment. Ahead of him is an Aston Martin, I believe, one of the TTG PGS drivers. That will be Oliver, indeed, into the middle sector. Now it's just invalidated, so we can have a look at Gustav. Nobody opting for those intermediates yet. Gustav's invalidated as well, actually, so no improvements coming just now. And the only opportunity for those who are right now on the track to pit are now. And everyone on an outlap, though, is on the wets, so no gamblers going. Actually, we do. Looks like Mustache might be one to gamble on those inters.
Do not blame him. Do not blame him at all. He may as well try something that is a little bit rogue, I think. I'm expecting Devon, Yuri perhaps, to go on that sort of intermediate compound size as well. Markadors, by the way, is first up on a lap, and it's 29.1 in the first sector. Purple out of everyone through the first sector. The middle sector, and especially so with Markadors, the final sector, will be really key, I think, to this lap as he slides his way. Coming out of turn number 9, he's just about kept it valid. And again, coming out of turn number 10, keeping it valid as well. But it's Tom out on top because this 11-second Jizu indeed are cooking, especially given the driving standards from 2 weeks ago in Singapore, which I'm not going to mention because Jensen is in the chat right now. Markadors down into the left-hander of turn number 12. He is normally a wet merchant. That's what Diamond said earlier on in the chat. The wet merchant's currently a 6th and 8th position. Markadors and Nuth doing a good job. The German there in 8th position. He's gone on to an outlap as well. Markadors, though, through this middle sector split, the rain definitely easing off in this final sector. He's a 10th and a half up. It's not finding much time, and that is giving me the indication, certainly, is that there looks like there might be a dry line forming coming through this part of the lap, through 15 and then towards 16, 17 and 18. If that dry line forms quickly, we're going to see drivers in a sort of inters go in pole position.
I can see 3 drivers right now in the menu who might be gambling on the inters. Let's see if there's anybody here.
Markadors is off. Sorry to cut you off there. He got caught on the curb through turn number 16, gone flying off the track with a big snap of oversteering. Markadors will not improve, but he has got 3 minutes of the session left.
Oh, we got someone on the inters. Mustache is out on the inters. I think Oliver and Kart Racer will do the same. Just waiting a little bit on that track to get as good as possible. But the first one on the track on inters, Ace Mustache, out of turn 1 just now, but we got some laps starting as well, so we can't miss out on those as well. Keki is one who's just started out on a lap, and yes, the 2 Shizou boys up top are actually on the intermediates now as well, so they might have just timed this to perfection.
Yeah, I think they have done indeed. Skyline, by the way, is up on a lap, and he's 8 tenths up, 11.8 in the middle sector. The wet compound of tyres might still be the tyre to be on, judging by what Skyline has said in here. His rotation and Phoenix have gone 4th and 5th, so good lap there from him as well. But Skyline looking very, very quick indeed. The VAR man now coming through the right-hander of turn number 16, 17 and 18. Milan, by the way, will be very happy in the comment section now that we're on board with the VAR man as comes into the left-hander of turn number 19, and then into the left-hander turn number 20, looking very, very neat indeed. He's already 6.5 tenths up on his lap and looks to improve even further. Skyline will go quicker, I think, here than Tom on the front line. Oh, he does. 48.6, and that is a big, big improvement from his perspective. Tom there in second, Kazizel in third. They're on the inters.
I think this is what's going to make the session properly interesting. Who will be adjusting to these tyres the best? And I think the way they can push now will be absolutely crucial. I think Keki is one of the drivers who's backed off on a full wet lap there. Rotation Phoenix at P5 and 6, as you said. Stefano into second. a tenth clear of Tom there, but I just think those intermediates are better now.
I think the intermediates are better. Certainly the rain has eased off considerably out on track now, and this is what we've literally been threatening. Maybe B-Tech James, in terms of his strategy calls, are getting this right. Yuri, by the way, on a set of wet compound tyres, 111.5, quicker than Skyline in that middle sector. He's looking good for GSP at this stage. The track is obviously going to evolve. Is it going to be way too late, though, for the Inters? You, I'm sure, are going to be on board with Mustache coming through the first sector as well.
Yep.
As Yuri now comes in towards 16, 17 and 18. A little bit slow coming out of 16, 17 and 18. Trying to get on the throttle on the exit. Now coming in towards turn 19. He's looking very good. The GSP man doesn't really have to do much, really, to try and improve in terms of pole position. Coming through the final corner, he's got a Williams just starting up on a lap ahead of him. That's going to really, really annoy him. But it's a 48.2. Doesn't annoy him enough, and he goes quickest. As rotation now goes quickest.
The forwards have still got something in store here. Let's see the first sector with Mustache. He's slightly slower. I think it could be on. It could be on for those on the Inters. He's just a touch slower, and the track is going to develop ever so slightly still. Grosjean 2 seconds up, in fact, in terms of his lap time, a 1:12 flat, and that is the end of qualifying. All of these laps are now dependent. Rodadal there going third. Skyline's invalid. He's not going to improve. Stefano is on a lap as well. He's improving. Tom coming through the first sector. Kazizel through the first sector. Let's see him bold with these guys. Tom in the first sector. Oh, it's a 28.4 in the first sector. Tom absolutely lighting up the screens here through the first sector. Kazizel, in fact, is even quicker than him through the first sector. About a tenth quicker. Grosjean in the end goes 7 on that wet compound tyres. Mustache, though, was the first man to watch on board with 112.1. I think he's caught this a little bit later. Stefano now goes quickest. They are literally going to go purple, purple, purple in terms of the lap times on the left-hand side. So please watch out for your drivers on the left-hand side as Mustache is improving on this set of intermediate compound tyres. Coming now through 16, 17 and 18. He's actually hanging the throttle very nicely indeed. Nuth now goes quickest. This delta time keeps on coming down in terms of the AlphaTauris in the middle sector. Tom is 2.2 seconds up, 109.7 in the middle sector. The Shazoo boys have clearly worked this plan to perfection. Mustache coming towards the line, in the end goes fourth, and he in the end sets the same lap time as rotation. Rotation is 2.5 cents down. The wets are clearly going off. Atesh, though, crashes across the line and goes third. Yuri there in seventh. I'm trying to flick on board. Gustav now goes quickest. My God, I can't keep up. Can't racer there on board with Tom, though, coming into the left-hand return 19, then into the left-hand return number 20. He's going to absolutely obliterate, I think, everyone else coming through the final couple of corners. Tom now to the line. Goes quickest with a 45 flat. What's Kazizel doing? Kazizel now goes quickest, 44.8. Big lap time from him. Pepe with a 111.6 through the final corner on the run to the line. The TTG man goes 12th in the end. Yuri in the end's invalid. Rodadal's invalid as well. That, my friends, is the end to a very, very hectic qualifying session. My God almighty. But the Shazoo boys work, I did say, last across the line will get pole position. Pretty much exactly the same. And Kazizel out on top. Tom there in second. Kart Racer in third. And if the drivers were just a little bit more patient, that could have been an even better qualifying session than what we've just had. Absolutely sensational. Kazizel out on top. Tom there in second. Kart Racer there in third. Gustav there in fourth. All first four starting on a set of Inters. Devon there in fifth. Oliver, by the way, sixth. Fantastic job from the TTG man. From Markedos in seventh. Nuth there in eighth. Stefano down in ninth. That is going to be a heartbreak, I think, for the FER team. Atesh in 10th. Rotation 11th. Mustache in the end came out too early in the pit lane. He qualified in 12th and qualified with exactly the same time, with Pepe, Marcel Gosny and Yuri top 15. Rodadal, Skyline, Grosjean, Keki and Phoenix. Keki down in 19th at the end of that as well. Kazizel out on top. Tom in second. My God, I'm just going to say it now. Best qualifying session of the whole frickin' season. That was amazing. Indeed it was. This just what the weather can do to a session. I am so excited. We've got such a mixed up grid here with some of the drivers up there that we really don't expect. The only real exception there, of course, is that front row lockout for Shazoo, and could that be the little thing they need to maybe secure a championship today? I don't know if it's 100% possible already, but it must be, surely. 39 points up top right now. And it surely does take a pretty bad race for FBR, but could this just be the mental side of winning this title?
The thing is, as well, with Tom, and I'm certainly not gonna make fans amongst the Shazoo boys tonight by saying this, but Tom has had inconsistency recently as well in terms of his league form, and that is gonna be certainly a mental block that he's got to try and overcome, I think, in terms of tonight. Tom is a very capable driver. I mean, the performance he put in TML F1 until he spun out the race lead, he did a fantastic job up until that point. He loves this track as well. He has won around here before, took Montana in terms of the championship fight in FRL, so he has got form, he's got experience. He just needs to overcome that mental block, I think, in terms of his current league form. Same with Kazizel as well. Kazizel hasn't been doing as well as what some people might have hoped in PSGL F1, hoping to try and overcome that. It's a Shizou front row lockout, 5 seconds to go until we get going, of course, out on track. Let us know your predictions in the comment section. This is going to be an absolute mad one. I'm absolutely guaranteed of that, as we now come to the 5 light here in America. It's take 2, and it's round 9 of the championship in EML Premier 1, and it's already lights out, and away we go. And Kazizel gets a strong start, but Tom is even stronger off the start, and he's going to run to the inside line in towards Turn 1, and Kart Racer and Devon are now side by side in towards Turn 1. Oliver tries to dive it down the inside of Gustav in all of that, but in the end, Shizou come out on top, 1-2, coming through turns 1 and 2, and Kart Racer actually tries to hang it around the outside through turn number 2, through the inside of turn number 3. Marcos has been spun in the background. Kart Racer's still there. There's also a Hasselhoff in the background. I think that's Nuth and Atesh that have been caught up in collisions further through the S section. Nuth certainly been caught up in that. Keki also caught up in that as well. Four drivers right down the back of the field. In the end, I think Atesh got caught on Nuth. Marcos got caught with Keki, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But Tom, regardless, leads the way. Kart Racer in second. Devon already looking to try and make the move done on Kart Racer. Stefano, interestingly, on a set of mediums, is already up to 5th, as is Oliver, who's on a set of mediums, but he's dropped down the field after a lunge in towards turn 1 on Marcos. May have unsettled the car coming out of the corner, but Tom now leads the way. Kart Racer in second. Here comes Devon, though, on the back of Kart Racer to the outside line in towards turn number 12 as the light just flickers there to the left-hand side in towards turn number 12. Stefano gets the job done on Gustav in the background. Devon forced off track by Kart Racer. They're in third. Devon in fourth. I need a drink. Tom leads the way because there's a second. Kart Racer in third. Mad opening lap.
Stefano making the absolute most of the medium tyres here, but still moves going on. Marcel side by side there with Oliver, and Oliver gets the move done. Great stuff from the TTG driver there. We've got one of them on the mediums. 8 and 9 now for TTG and PGS later on then. Marcel in the top 10 for GSP, making up 4 positions. Rydal as well, making up 5, but so far just the 2 Shizou boys swapped right now. Kart Racer in P3, and then already the 2 FVR drivers. The perfect start for the boys in red.
Yeah, definitely so. Grosjean, by the way, on a set of soft compound tyres is already up to 15th position. And as Lyman said, what on earth is he doing on a set of soft compound tyres? I'm totally flummoxed by that, but he is diving to the inside line of turn number 1 on Skyline. Yuri also on Mustache gets the job done as well. So that is 1 up, 1 down for Team Ace at this moment in time. Radadal as well, running nearly side by side with Gosney coming through the first sector. Gosney there in 10th, doing a good job for the GSP team. Stefano there on the back of Devon. I wonder if FER team orders are going to be, literally, for Stefano to get through on Devon. Devon moves out the way. He can hold up Gustav and then put Stefano in a really good position. Kart Racer is not as quick as Stefano, so I don't think there's going to be any fight there. And then the real fight is between the Shizou boys and the FER boys. And already FER up many positions off this race start. Grozny and Radadala side by side coming out of turn number 11. Grosjean a bit slidey there coming out of the corner as well. Stefano has enacted the pass on Devon in towards turn number 12. Gets the job done. And Radadal goes for 2 for 1. Got Grozny, got Oliver as well. Surely down in the inside line of turn number 12. And he does. Brilliant stuff by the McLaren. The ETA man is through and he's in tonight, but under pressure from Oliver to the outside line of turn number 10. I wonder if he's got a little bit of wing damage potentially with him dropping down the field. But Radadal and Oliver still side by side towards turn number 15. Medium compound tyres has it, but the set of hards now gets the switchback. That's Rodadell now on the outside at turn 16, 17 and 18. I did say to Alex we could see an overtake around here. In the end we don't, as Marcos has spun out of turn 15.
Oh, what a horrid race for TF10 so far. What a shame. They've been so unlucky so far. But as you can see, those medium tyres so far, they are going to be absolutely rampant compared to the competition. Stefano sets the fastest lap, just as I say that. So ideal timing there. Stefano putting that pace to proper use now on these medium tyres. And I think he will do it for just a bit longer. As, late dive there. Is this going to work for Rydal? Rydal still alongside the Aston Martin. Looks like Oliver can hold his position here.
Beautiful.
But Rydal now to the outside. Good stuff. The McLaren is through.
I was about to say as well, Oliver was actually the car behind coming out of the corner through turn number 1, so he would have had to give up that position anyways, even if he rejoined track in a safe manner, which he did. Rodadell there into 9th, Oliver there in 10th. Makes me wonder if Oliver has got a little bit of front wing damage potentially on the car. Certainly from what happened on lap 1, I would expect. But Tom leading the way from Kazizel there in 2nd, Kart Racer there in 3rd. Position gains, by the way, early on. Well, it's a real mixed bag. TF10 down in 19th and 20th, 11 and 13 positions lost. 7 positions gained for Rodadell, up 7, Phoenix up 5, Grosjean up 2 as well, and actually Phoenix is looking for another move on the back of Skyline, running in toward the left-hander of turn number 12. Oliver dives it on Rodadell, actually gets the move done, back pass to the inside line, and Rodadell now fights him back. Phoenix there gets the job done on Grosjean, and the set assault's really not working, but Rodadell back through and Oliver. Fantastic fight between them both. Oliver tries to fight him back. TTG in their final 2 races in the EML Premier 1 are currently 8th and 10th.
Definitely trying to put a fight on here, not let this name go down without a fight. And I think it's very, very good what particularly Pepe's doing as well. They're hanging on PA just outside the DRS as of now, but I think he can still get in there. And Oliver doing very well there to hang on these mediums. Stefano's another fastest lap, and I think he's going to go for it on kart race, isn't he?
He will. To the inside line. Oh, absolutely late lunge, but it's too late on the brakes. Surely Kart Racer switches him back, and that's good job done from the NLR man. But that has cost Stefano more than it's actually gained for Kart Racer, so it hasn't really worked out for either of them. If I've got to be honest, Kart Racer, if that was a 10th more, he would have been out of DRS range, and Stefano would have had to try and basically get Kart Racer down the straight to try and get back him, try and get Kart Racer back within that second. But Stefano's looking so much quicker than Kart Racer at this stage. Kart Racer though doing a good job. He's using up a bit of ERS down the hill there, 36% compared to Stefano on 40%. But Kart Racer sold the switchback coming out of turn number 1. It was fantastic stuff, but now he's going to be under pressure once again from Stefano. And Stefano, given that he's got a rocket ship within that Ferrari and he's on the way to Mars with this, he's on a collision course with the NLR man to the inside line at turn number 12. In the end, doesn't get the job done. Switch it back, and speaking of collision course, there it is. Stefano gets the move done. He might have to give that position back. Devon, though, is trying to force on the back of Kart Racer as well to the inside line of turn 15. He tries to hold it, and Kart Racer, to be fair, gets the elbows out and holds the position.
Indeed, good stuff there. I was literally about to say, do not underestimate Kart Racer here at all, because his pace is very, very good, particularly around this circuit, and then this collision unfortunately happens, just brings him out of his rhythm slightly. Another spin from Marketos at the back. It's horrific right now for the German back there. The ace swap has just gone on as well there. Actually, no, Mustache making a bit of a mistake there.
Mustache as well might have got caught on some hair trimmings potentially further down the field. That's a bad one. Phoenix on the back as well. He's spun coming through turn number 19, but Gustav on the back of Devon on the back of Kart Racer, and look at the speed that Stefano has just pulled in on Kart Racer. Personally, if I was in the FER team shoes, I'd have knacked that back pass, because Kart Racer didn't really deserve that. It was just a slight tap coming through turn number 12. Didn't deserve that at all, and Stefano was a little bit like a bully to the inside line, if I've got to be honest. In towards turn number 12, there was no gap there. The contact was inevitable, and therefore Stefano there in 3rd. And Frankie has said in the chat, might get a 5-second penalty as a result, which they all know too much well about in terms of Singapore 2 weeks ago for the Shazoo team with Jensen and Tom, and indeed for Stefano with a collision as well with Name Changer in Singapore as well. As we're on lap 5 of the 28 here, Tom and Kazizel currently holding things out in front, currently holding very, very good margin actually over Stefano there in 3rd. Stefano though does look quicker. Yuri, by the way, is past that. Oliver down the straight. Oliver is dropping down the field very much so. Oh my god, he's gone into the back of Yuri in towards turn number 12. He swings him wide. So Skyline has to take avoiding action, and Grosjean and all that has gained the position. Grosjean surely on the outside line is going to gain this. Skyline, though, to be fair, fights the inside line at 14, then towards turn number 15, and all of that came from Oliver just messing up his braking point in towards turn number 12. It's so easy to do, especially when the sun is literally running down on you, as Grosjean tries to go all the way around the outside through 16, 17, 18, gets the ERS on, now in towards turn 19, and gets the job done. Brilliant stuff by Grosjean, and that is how you turn a negative into a positive, but that's how you back it up nearly into your teammate, and unfortunately, Karma comes back biting you back on the backside. He's picked up a 3-second penalty.
That is so unlucky as well. What a move it was beforehand. Indeed, to the outside of 16, 17, 18. Good stuff. Oh.
to the inside line of Mustache. Gave him plenty of room, to be fair, there, the ace man. To the inside line of turn number 2 and gets the job done around the outside. He got caught on the curb there, Mustache. Natesh through in 15th, easy.
Yeah, it was just the curb, otherwise he would have been able to maybe hold on to this. And now this is promoted Keke back into the fight as well. Then the 3 behind, the heavyweights almost off this grid, if you will. Knut and Markados being the sandwich pretty much to FRL Phoenix there in 19. It's a shame to see those 2 Haskars back there. Car Racer's actually just about holding it in the DRS range of the top 3. But it's looking very, very close for the Williams as of now. I think the mediums are still having an effect at this stage for Stefano. Look at how close he is to the back of these 2 AlphaTauris. But I think in that second stint, it might just come back to bite him.
Yeah, Grosjean passing Oliver further down the field. I think Oliver's just had a little bit of moment actually coming out of the corner. And has Skyline actually just got that move done? I think Skyline's just got the move done. I totally missed that, but I saw that on the mini-map. I think Skyline managed to go all the way around the outside of turn number 12, got the job done, and actually goes the inside on a turn 15, and that's not going to work. The VER man wants to try and get the elbows out, but the elbows out is not going to work that way, because Skyline in 13 should just literally wait. He's not in a Nissan Skyline, he's not in a Nissan GTR either, but Skyline there in 13 doing a good job, but he's got to basically back Oliver up into Atesh. That'll be his main concern. He's got Grosjean's number every day of the week because his tyres are going to fall off completely off the cliff. Rodadal to the inside on, and Pepe just about running ball with him in towards turn 1, gets the job done. Beautiful move from Rodadal. We just about caught that in the nick of time. Rodadal through he's into 8, nice job, and Skyline and Oliver once again found outside of turn number 1, and Oliver in the end gets caught on Atesh. Atesh goes around the outside, and that's exactly what the VER team have done. Backed him up into, backed Oliver up into Atesh. Atesh gets the job done. He's through and he's into 14th.
Exactly what I would have wanted in this situation, I would have thought. And I think maybe some teamwork could be going on here to get past Grosjean, because those softs, they are not going to be good for much longer, as even the mediums are dropping off after a fairly short amount of time. Will there be a swap perhaps going on for VIR, or is Atesh just that close to his teammate? My word, so close. Keke behind, going for a dive. I don't think that was intended. Doesn't get it done either. But this is nothing.
Oh, Stefano!
Pressure from Knut.
Sorry, goodness me, I thought he was going to dive it to the inside line of turn number 13. He gave me the fright of my life, and now actually puts Kazizel again under pressure and towards turn 15. But I don't get, honestly, what Stefano's play is here. Yeah, Devon is going to be within DRS range now. If that was the play, it's smart. But at what extent? Because Stefano's just ruined his own tyres. Trying to get Devon back within a second, and Cartwright back within a second, and then it's a 7-car train for the race lead. Don't really get what Stefano was actually playing at there, to be honest, but he is going to look in towards turn number 1 once again. There is a spinner, and that's Oliver, I think, round coming through 16, 17, 18, and again, Stefano jinks to the left-hand side, but look at where it's put him, completely out wide coming through turn number 1. I don't really get what he's thinking at this stage.
This is this is very reminiscent of what Charles Leclerc actually in real life is doing so often, which to my own confusion, it's always the same thing. I think in this case it does actually relate to his teammate, Devon there being behind Kart Racer, and just trying to close up that gap as much as possible for Devon to maybe profit from it. But we know how tough it is actually. It's much tougher than you might think to pass around the Circuit of the Americas, despite this long back straight and even the opportunity into turn 1. Maybe the infamous Kota dive, I like to call it, into turn 14. But it's certainly very, very difficult still to make a pass. Will Stefano do the same? He's out of battery. I'm not too sure why he's doing this at this stage. He needs to get as much of a gap as he can. But like this, it's just not going to happen.
Jav mentioned, Jav saying in the chat as well, Stefano's actually playing peekaboo, potentially. Yeah, there's a bit of hide and seek going on here, I think, from Stefano. It's just to put Kazizel under pressure. I know from Kazizel's experience and my experience of him, of me commentating on him, as Atesh has got the job done on Grosjean and towards turn number 12. Kazizel is doing a fantastic job, but what he does crack under is pressure. And Stefano, I think, is trying to put him under pressure that's really unwarranted. And it's sort of putting Stefano more under pressure than Kazizel ahead, because Kazizel has got a very, very neat head-on at this stage. He is not reacting at all to Stefano and behind. He's just carrying about the gap ahead. Tom's got more ERS than Kazizel, so he's obviously going to try and drop him out outside of a second as Devon looks the inside line of turn number 1 on Cartwright. I thought he was going to get the jump, but again, Stefano in towards turn 1 just locks up completely. And again, coming back to Thimon's comment there, trust the process, James. How can you trust the process if Stefano was running wide at turn number 1 every single lap and costing him time? That's what I don't get. Yeah,
and also he's got very low ERS as well, so he's got pretty much nothing to push for either. and or push with actually. Is what I meant there. And the tyres only going to get worse from this stage. I think this is probably around the time where the hard compound tyres might be getting into a bit of their own strength there. So I don't know for 100% what the plan is, though. Now I can see Devon very close to the back of Kart Race. It's been slightly deep into turn 11, but there is no overtake mode going on from pretty much anybody in this train. Devon on 0% though. Look at him. He's closing up. Can he make it? Oh, he's going to the inside. Very late move. Oh my word. Almost hits his teammate. Let's have a look now. Kart Racer is still to the outside. He is still through.
Oh, no.
Wow. These goes so deep. Goes Devon and he gets the move done. Wow.
If that move honestly wasn't pulled off, I would have come back to Thyman and said, are you really going to trust the process after that? It was forceful driving from Devon. In the end, it was smart because Kart Racer backed off. But if Kart Racer didn't back off, he would have been ran off circuit and there would have been contact there, regardless. So FER, again, have to come back. I'm criticising their strategy because I want to see them right up there. Stefano has got the pace. Stefano's completely got the pace over Kazizel. He needs to save up his battery though. Devon the same. He's got pace obviously in Kart Racer. Got the job done. Gustav now back in this fight as well. Rotation's just been left behind slightly as a warrant of pace, I think, more than anything else. But the front six are beginning to pull away. Stefano though, on the back of Kazizel, he's using up battery at weird points of the circuit. Coming out of turn number 2, for example, he was just on the battery coming out of turn number 2. Just gave him a little bit of extra speed coming through the S section. And he is putting Kazizel under pressure. Carl Scarrett in the chat saying as well, how can you do Kazizel like that, saying he bottles under pressure? I've seen him bottle under pressure. He does have that mental blockage sometimes. And there, in towards turn number 11, literally just proven what I've just said. He is under pressure from Stefano and behind. Tom is escaping up the road. Wouldn't really care, I think, by Tom. He just wants to keep that second gap, I think. That's the Shazoo play. But Stefano has now... He's not putting Kazizel under the pressure that he was a couple of laps ago, and that is just beginning to tell, I think, in the way Kazizel is starting to drive. Kazizel, don't get me wrong, is driving phenomenally well. Stefano doing the same, but Kazizel, this is just a slight bit of pressure, I think, that Stefano needs to put him under for Kazizel to crack.
I'm going to trust your experience here because, I mean, you've seen him race so many times. I'm not going to lie here. This is actually my first time seeing Kazizel race, and being right up there in second, right behind his teammate, of course it's looking good, but you never know what can happen with these drivers. It's the top 6 being together, very close here. But the biggest gap currently actually between the two Shazoo drivers, but it's being slightly broken up still by this one medium runner, and I think once Stefano pits in, that's when the gap could be looking a bit bigger. Look at how close he can get on the brakes. But then it's just the tyres. I think at this stage, they might still be pretty good. And maybe a bit of driver skill there going on as well. To be honest, Steph, we know how quick a driver he is. But the same can be said for the two in front. So they're pretty much equaling each other out here. They're balancing each other out completely. And that's why we are seeing this top 6 train. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 being occupied by Shazoo and FBR. It's just the same image that you've seen for so much of the season. And yeah, they're at it again. Yeah,
and to come back to the point, by the way, what you've just said about Kazizel, I've commentated on his first ever league race, believe it or not, which is comes to show how long I've been in the league racing community and in the vanguard through there. But Kazizel, his first ever race was in FRL F3. It was Bahrain. Oh, as he locks up in towards turn number 12, very late on the brakes. Stefano is putting him under that pressure still. But Kazizel, he handled that pressure very well in that race. He dive bombed a driver called Housey, who I think was known in the community for being a bit of a kid, to be honest. Well, he was a kid back then. And Kazizel has handled that really well. He's also doing... I think last year, was it the year before, I think he was doing British karting as well. He was actually crowned British karting champion in his category, which was fantastic. And Kazizel there in second is using that karting experience to good effect. He's on the back of Tom. Obviously, this is just sim racing. This is not real life. It's not kart racing that you're seeing out on track. Far from it. But Kazizel doing a fantastic job. He's there in second. Stefano there in third. There was a yellow flag. That's Oliver Round again coming through the right-hander there of 50. Oh, to the right-hander 14 even into the left-hander turn 15. He has gone completely down the field. Carl Scarrett certainly saying, yeah, that was a very long time ago. I think by my calculations, it was about 7 or 8 years ago, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay,
F1 2015.
Oh, you actually league raced on that game. Oh, that's crazy.
F1 2012 I league raced on there.
Wow. 2012 I was barely getting started out. That's crazy. Wow. I didn't think you would be actually league racing on a game this broken, even compared to 22. But, I mean, yeah, it must have worked in some way, as I think for the point of kart racing, of course, this is not kart racing, but this might not be the case for one of the top 5. That's all I'm going to say on this. You can figure that out for yourself.
Jav mentioned that in the comments as well, so don't worry.
Yeah, we're all seeing kart racing. Indeed, we are. P5 at the moment. But what I was going to say, actually, the strategy...
Oh, I thought was going to lunge it to the inside line. Sorry to cut you off, Alex, as Pepe is actually under pressure here from Marcel. Marcel on the back of Pepe at this stage. The TCG man doing well, but Marcel on the back of him, just applying that pressure. Didn't get the job done there.
He didn't indeed. He's just trying to get the traction down, but there's no passing opportunity down here. What I wanted to say, on the strategy front, I think this is going to be very interesting. Lap 13 now, and while the mediums, the undercut onto mediums is super, super strong, I've experienced it myself, twice in PSGL actually, which has brought me about 2 seconds each on both undercuts. But at the same time, the tires are wearing out so much, and then towards the end you are going to feel the effects, so you can't pit, I would say, any earlier than maybe lap 14. 14 is probably the earliest you can go on this. So, yeah, it's very, very difficult on the strategy front, but if you do manage to get this undercut down, you might be gaining a massive, massive advantage. And I'm looking at someone like maybe Gustav there at the back of that DRS train, or even Rotation. You never know. Rotation currently 1.7 seconds down on the train. He could just get that time in if he does pit that 1 lap early. Onto a fresh set of mediums. So the undercut is one to watch out for, but you are definitely going to feel it towards the end of the race. Stefano is now dropping off, actually, the back of the 2 Shazoo drivers. Could there be a swap going on soon? I don't think just yet, but I think the pit stop for Stefano is going to come soon.
I think he should put it in last lap, actually. I think he really has missed a trick here, because Stefano is now beginning to lose. It was pretty much stagnant in terms of the gap between the first sector. Gosney again on the back of Pepe, by the way, through turn number 12, is going side by side. The Mercedes on the outside line through 13. Pepe, beautiful car positioning by the TTG man. That is how you pull it off. And Pepe through, and he's into, and again, beautiful car positioning towards 714. But Stefano, if I was him now, I'd come in the pit lane right here, right now. He does. I think he's put it in a lap later than expected. Stefano into the pit lane. Gets on the limiter, 38 mile an hour. I made that into the pit lane, and that is now Stefano into the pit lane, going for a big undercut. And what that has done is now put Devon in a real bad prospect of trouble here, because he's there in third. He's out of DRS range. He's going to lose time to Kazizel and Tom. Kazizel and Tom got more ERS than Devon ahead behind as well. So therefore, Shazoo have currently got FVR's number every day of the week. And if you are an FVR fan, look away now, because look at where Stefano's coming out of the pit lane. He's right in the middle of Keki, Skyline, Nuth, all amongst that battle, and Scott and Keki is trying to fight around the outside of turn number 2 and 3, and he does get the job done. And Stefano now is in deep bother here, coming through the middle sector, coming through the first sector split. Not looking too bad, but in the middle sector, this is going to be hell come high water for Stefano. This is the most unfortunate bit of luck. However you look at it, this is bad news for Stefano. That is not good news from the FVR perspective either.
Not at all. Like you said there, I know the mediums warm up pretty quickly, but the hards not so much. And now he's right in the middle of that train, and they're going to be staying out for at least another 2 laps, I'd say. So him trying to get through this is going to be extremely difficult, if not basically an impossible task, unless he wants to risk it properly hard here. But we have a look here at Tom at Kazizel. I don't think they've been using much ERS at all. They're just still going about their business. Markador's picking up a penalty down there in P16. Just the bottom 5, actually, you've got a time penalty as it stands. But none of the top drivers looking to pit yet. So lap 15 will be the earliest, and I think lap 15 is quite probable for some pit stops to happen. So let's just have a look at how this ERS pushing is going to look. I think Tom has used some of it. This could be an indication as to their pit stop timing very, very soon.
Cazzizzle, I think, made a mistake there coming out of turn number 1. He's just dropped outside of a second for the first time. Tom, I think, used the DRS as well, as that is rotation round, has gone for a spin. He's rotated around coming through turn number 1, I'm afraid, and unfortunately for him, he's down there in 7th. I had to say that. It's just on the tip of my tongue. Stefano there on the back of Keke is still behind. Big trouble, I think, from Stefano's shoes. Devon, I think, has also missed a trick. If the process... My process for FER, if I was in charge of that team right now, Thyman, I know, was going to look at me in the comment section and thinking, yeah, we may should have done this strategy. Kart Racer there on the back of him has got much more ERS. He's got 10 times as much ERS as what Devon has at this stage. 30% of ERS that was, coming out of turn 11. And again, Lifton Coast coming in towards turn number 12. Devon now, he's gone too hard on those set of hards. I think he should have came in last lap around, and if he did come in last lap around, he would have been in a much better position later on in the race compared to everything else. Pepe, by the way, is through on rotation. That was forceful, I think, to the inside line on turn number 12, and now Stefano has got the job done on Keke, surely to the inside line on turn number 12. He waltzes to the inside line, and the FEL man is through. That's one ticked off his list. He's got both VIR cars ahead of him. That's not going to be light work for sure, as... everyone in the top 5 still stays out. Tom just banged to the new fastest lap of the race.
So that's what the RS pushing was about. I think now, the pit window starts now, I believe, lap 16. Yeah. So no pit stops. I'm quite surprised by that, to be honest. But the gap, look at that gap, 1.9 seconds now, even between the two Shazoo cars. So very interesting stuff here. Kart Race is so close to the back of Devon, and Gustav as well, has to be said. Very close to that Williams too. So not too much battling going on at this stage, but this is the lap. At least, in my opinion, that should be the lap where people will pit.
Simon has just mentioned to me, or mentioned to us in the chat, apparently it's going to rain before the end of the race.
Oh, goodness.
That's why they've split the strategy. That's why Stefano's gone on Tresetta. I don't really believe that, to be honest, for 1 second, as that Oliver spun coming out of turn 19. I don't believe that for 1 second, because if there was rain forecast... why wouldn't you put Stefano back onto a set of medium compound tyres if he had a fresh set? That's what I would have surely thought would have happened. But if there is rain forecast in this race, and I'm not believing him for 1 second at this stage, but if I am believing him, and if there is rain towards the end of this race, it's going to work out quite well for the front 5 who are obviously staying out. Tom is now having to try and go as long as possible. Various Jeffs will be telling various different things, I've got to say, out on track. Stefano, by the way, is lunging to the inside line at turn number 12. He got 1 on Skyline. I'll have to see that from the POV perspective, because Stefano got the job done before I even got there on the cameras. Stefano doing his intro 11, now clear of both of the eyeballs who nearly punt each other, actually, coming to through 10-15. But Stefano now out on the clear. Everyone in the top 5 staying out, which makes me think rain, if it's forecast, is going to be around lap 21.
It must be, and if it is any later than that, this is so interesting. I'm not too sure. If the rain comes late enough, this could be a masterstroke for Stefano, because he then wouldn't have to pit anymore in case the rain doesn't get hard enough, and then everyone will have to use 2 dry tire compounds. You never know. Maybe this was actually genius from Stefano and any one of the medium runners, but. Yeah, the sky, it is very overcast. We can see that the sky is very grey, but I can't see any rain just on the radar just yet. It's going to be still a few laps until that hits.
I think Keki's just pulled off an absolute worldie. It's actually Gustav's trying to pull off a move on the inside of Kart Racer in towards turn number 11. Tries to get the job done on the inside. And now down the straight, it's going to be a drag race. Is the McLaren going to have more straight line speed? Kart Racer had more ERS though, and now trying to bring him all the way to the left-hand side. He wants that inside line to try and defend. Gustav's going to have to make it the hard way around the outside. Might try and get the switch back. In the end though, Kart Racer, aggressive moving across, I've got to say. There wasn't too moving. As Gustav goes in the back of him. Keeps on going though. Kart Racer there in 4th. Gustav there in 5th. But Gustav, at the end of the day, trying to get the job done. Kart Racer 11 4th, still there. Stefano is still in 11th position. He's on that sort of hard compound tyres. Makes me wonder when drivers are going to pit in. If drivers are going to pit in, as Cazzizzle, I thought was going to pit in there for a second. But it seems as if the rain is going to be coming. If the rain is going to be coming, it makes me think, though, Stefano, with him going into a set of hards, everyone will go and transition to a set of inters. Stefano's play then would be to stay out on that sort of hards to the end of the race. That's what's going around in my head, thinking out aloud.
That's exactly what I'm thinking as well. That's the only possible explanation I've got for this. That he's simply going to have those that one mandatory pit stop, the 2 mandatory tire compounds down in this race, while the rest haven't and will have to make a stop. So perhaps this is a great play from Stefano. It's just how well can he get through this field? He's the only driver, or well, the furthest up driver to be on this kind of strategy. So I'm really curious to see how this pans out. And even later on, the tire advantage I don't think is going to outweigh the gap that Stefano is going to get for the moment, even though it is going to be very, very big. I know that for sure. But, when is this rain coming?
Oh, I thought that was rain. I thought I saw a flick coming through turn number 11 there. Or through turn 9 and towards turn number 10. I thought I saw a flick of rain there on my camera, but it's okay. The further we get into the race, though, and the further it stays dry, the less likely it's going to be for the rain to actually come towards the end of the race. I'm not convinced. Anta saying in the chat, look at the sky. I'm actually not convinced by the sky. I'm not convinced by the cloud cover whatsoever that it is actually going to rain. This is more overcast, cloudy sort of conditions. But I see now the rain out on track. As soon as I've said that, the rain has now begun to fall. And Stefano there in 11th needs to get Pepe, Grozny, Rotation and Yuri to have any chance of winning this race.
Yep. Bad news for Stefano. Very, very bad news, I would say, even. That has not gone to plan at all. It just depends how quickly will this track now get wet enough for the intermediates. But I think Circuit of the Americas has got a reputation for actually wetting up pretty quickly. So, just when is this all going to hit? It's so, so tense. And I think Stefano will now have to push as hard as he possibly can.
I think a few drivers actually might further down the field. Certainly if I was Phoenix Grosjean, I'd be coming in the pit lane this lap because the rain is beginning to fall on the camera lens. That normally means that the track is getting wet, and it's getting wet actually pretty quickly down in towards 10 and 11 as we run on board through the middle sector. But Tom leading the way by 3.4 seconds. Currently the gap between Tom and Stefano, 4 sufferance, 21.4 seconds. Pit stop around here is more like 17, 18 seconds, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So therefore, Stefano is going to miss a trick. He is going to be involved in this battle. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be involved in this battle. Could come out ahead of Kazizel. And if that's the case, that would be fantastic. Can't race looks the inside line on Devon. Try to force the sell the dummy to the inside line. I've been Mike, by the way, saying that in the chat, a sheep joke. How original. At least call me a leak muncher or something. You use more than the 1% of you brain's power. Very, very strange comments going on there in the chat. Stefano, though, not a strange person whatsoever. Gets the job done on one GSP man. The other GSP man's up the road, but Stefano Thurney's into 10. Yuri there in 11. Tom, though, leading the way. Kazizel in second. And I don't think drivers will be in this lap. I think it'll be either next lap or lap 21, as James rightfully said.
Indeed, indeed. Stefano there, no stranger to making a move. He knows the rules, so do we. And I think he has to get past these drivers as quickly as he can. Is he to the inside of 19? Just can't make this work. But maybe now on the exit, can he make anything work on that Alfa Romeo? No, he cannot. Stays in P10 for the moment. Pepe is the first one actually in the top 10 to pick up a penalty. Only on lap 20, very, very late on. As, a lot of action still going on. Stefano still to the inside now.
Mustache has crashed! Oh. No, do not be a safety car. It's a safety car! I do not believe it! It's a safety car! Oh my god! What on earth is this? What on earth? Diamond, by the way, Anamoy there in the chat apparently has said it's drying up again. I don't believe that for 1 second because I think that's the god of weather, if I'm not mistaken, in Greek mythology. But this is... Oh, I don't know how to react to the safety car. Is this the best possible play safety car that I could ever imagine? Or is this the worst play safety car? Judging by the rain falling, it looks as if it's going to be the best. But I'm not so sure. If this was a lap later, I would have agreed. I would have said it would be absolutely perfect. Everyone on a set of compound tyres, though, they've got to have to decide what this rain is going to do. If the rain is going to fall, and then it's going to dry up, our driver's going to stay out on a set of hard compound tyres. It's Stefano, more importantly, going to stay out on that set of hard compound tyres. The rain is falling. I've got to be honest though, Alex, coming through the middle of the final couple of corners, it's not really affecting the track as quick as what I would have imagined.
Honestly, James, if I were in the driver's position right now, I would not know what to do. I genuinely have no idea. Is Tom going to head in? Is he going to head? Yes, he is in. He is in. But what tyres? It must be intermediates at this stage, surely. Yeah, we can see the grains. We can see the grains on the track. The light grey stains there. And that must be the sign to go on to intermediate tyres now. And anything else would be very, very surprising now.
Yep, everyone into the pit lane, certainly out of the top 6, Salavinta's on, and that means we're going to get full wet, well, half wet weather racing towards the end of the race. Salavinta's on, Stefano though, into the pit lane. Simon, trust the process, down in 9th. Are you trusting the process anymore?
Oh, difficult. Very, very difficult. He has made up a place, just the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just hasn't gone to plan, has it? Actually, he's up to
Is it
T8.
gonna be...
No, he's just in the lane now, and he might just lose out to the stack even. Will he? No, he's down to P10 still.
He's lucky.
Oh, very, very lucky there. He is actually going to be in P9 then, which is... It could be worse, but looking at that situation there, Shazoo 1 and 2, it basically still couldn't be much better in this situation. Stefano is down in P9. That strategy has unfortunately backfired, and of course he's got unlucky with that safety car. But Markados on softs? Was that intended? I am not sure. But
no,
I mean, you never know.
That's a game glitch, surely. Has to be. Set of softs. Then again, set of inters. A lap fresher towards the end of the race. Who knows? Who knows? He's down in 17th. He may as well go for broke, but I think that is honestly a game induced. It always happens to one driver. When there's wet conditions, I've always seen it happen to one driver. Markados seems to be that one driver. Whenever I commentate on him, he seems to be the man that does, unfortunately, misselect the set of soft compounder tyres. Every single time I think I've commentated on him, he's done that. And the TF10 man down in 17th. And unfortunately, he's down in the back of the field as that Oliver has picked up a 3-second penalty. He's continuing on still in that set of inters. We're going to have safety car in probably in around 2 laps time, I imagine, given how Oliver's down in towards turn number 1 and the rest of the field's coming into the final sector. Tom, though, leading the way from Kazizel in 2nd, Devon there in 3rd, Cot Racer in 4th, Gustav Rodadal 5th and 6th, then Pepe, Grozny, Stefano, rotation top 10 with Atesh, Nuth, Keki, Yuri and Skyline top 15, Phoenix, Markados, Grosjean and Oliver. It should be Phoenix, Grosjean, Markados, then Oliver, I would imagine, towards the end of this race, with Oliver still being at the back of the field. Regardless, though, Markados, to be fair, on that set of soft compounder tyres, isn't actually losing too much time to Phoenix.
Yeah, it has to be said. He is actually gaining, but the track is looking very, very intermediate right now. He must be making his pit stop very soon, and the only driver yet to catch up, Oliver, as he said, is just heading onto the back straight now. Markados, I would be surprised if he didn't go in. He does go in, will fit a set of intermediates, not actually going that wide into the pit lane, so he does control that understeer very, very well. And I'm just thinking, is this perhaps a little bit of a nick of the game here, saying, "Oh, you've delayed the start of EML, you're gonna get soft."
And that's karma coming back to bite him on the bum cheeks, I think, potentially there for Markados in 18. He's done a fantastic job, though. Don't get me wrong, Markados has done a fantastic job. Oliver there in 19th, he's going to be nowhere near Markados, so Markados at least is ahead of 18. By the way, 69 viewers tuning in, thank you very much. Tom leading the way from Kazizel there in 2nd. 71 actually by me on the right hand side, but 69 on my screen. Tom leading the way, Kazizel in 2nd. Devon there in 3rd. Keki, however, down in 13th, and I know the NLR boys will probably want a bit of screen time for him, so we'll give him screen time. He's there in 13th. He's actually on warmer tyres compared to every single person who's in the top 15, bar him, who's in 13th position. So Keki has not missed a trick, I don't think, with that. With that lap pressure tyres, and with them being warmed up, 4 or 5% I think it'll be in terms of the tyre wear, is Keki going to make any moves on Atesh, Nuth, rotation and the likes ahead?
I'm not going to lie, this might actually not be too bad for Keki here. Those few percentiles I don't think will make a difference on a distance this short. And at the same time, he's got, well, I'm not going to say as this is going to be some massive experience. Of course, everybody had some of this experience in that qualifying session being completely wet. But now, it could actually work for Keki. And at the same time, safety car is coming in. That is quite early. But actually, Oliver might just catch up to the back. If he is quick enough, so this should be alright for him. I feel like now, with just 6 laps to go of racing, the attitude is either going to be get the moves done as soon as possible or hang back, and I think Keke is one of the hang back drivers and might just be able to make something work.
Well, Oliver is pushing it too much because he just picked up another 3-second penalty out on track behind. But it all depends now on when Tom is going to go under the virtual thermometer. He's not the virtual safety car, of course, out on track. And if I was Tom, I'd go in towards turn 19 and then put the pressure on Devon, who's there in 3rd. The Soul. And there we go. Literally, as I've just said that, Tom, absolutely listening to me. Stefano, look! Dropping down the field! Stefano, what on earth has happened? Underneath that restart, I think he might have spun potentially. Underneath the restart, there's going to be a few 5-second penalties, I think, going the way here. But Tom leading the way, because this is in second. Perfect from a Shizou perspective. Not great news from Stefano's perspective from an FBR. As now Kart Racer dives to the inside line of Devon in towards turn number 1. Tries to run down the inside. The NLR man and the FBO man side by side at turn number 2. The outside traction will help with Kart Racer. And he's still there in towards turns 3, 4, and he backs off luckily, but picks up a 3-second penalty for his pains. Devon there in third, Kart Racer there in fourth, but Stefano had a bit of a spin, I think. Devon now overtaken by Kart Racer. Not sure what happened there. They're side by side, and Devon spun.
Yeah, there was contact there. Right rear to front left, and that was not going to go well. 3-second penalty as well for Kart Racer. It's not ideal for him at this stage. Now we've got Skyline picking up a 3-second penalty as well. I'm surprised there's so little penalties going on here. But Devon now dropping to the back. Stefano as well. Whatever reports there will be happening now perhaps against any teams, it's not going to help when FBR down in 12th and 16th. And I would say Shizou might just have one hand on the trophy here.
I think they could have both hands on the trophy potentially. Yeah. It's a 39-point gap. They're first and second at the minute. We're going to have to do the calculations, or I'm going to have to do the calculations very quickly on the fly. But as it stands, they'll be picking up 55 points. They will be picking up 55 points, maybe even 56 if they've got the fastest lap, which they don't, because it's Oliver that's got the fastest lap of the race at the minute. But if one of the Shizou boys do, then it's 56 points, and FBR at this stage at 12th and 15th. For my calculations, I think that's 8 and 5, 13 points compared to 50. What would be 54, 55. That is a 42-point swing. 42-point swing, 81 points. I think they've done enough. Yeah. As it stands.
As it stands, 5 laps to go. It might just turn out for Shizou to be the champions, and they'll be doing it very, very cleanly in this fashion right now. 1 and 2, Tom and Kazizel, they've been looking on top of their game in this entire race. Kart Racer in P3, it's a bit of a shame with that incident there with Devon, that it is looking it's quite possibly decided the championship, which is a big, big shame. But maybe 2 drivers to point out. ETA in 4 and 5, very strong.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job. Gustav and Rodadal have ridden the wave. I think Pepe, by the way, is overperforming in that Aston Martin for PGS, TTG, whatever we're now known as. TTG for now until the end of EML, of course. Pepe there in 6th, doing a fantastic job. Bit of a slide there coming out of turn numbers. Gustav has picked up a penalty coming out of turn number 10 there from Pepe. Atesh and Nuth, by the way, are beginning to come into this as well. Keki's not too far off either of the top 10. 3-second penalties might swing their way. Stefano, though, in no man's land. He's quicker than Keki, but Keki's in a DRS train running down the back straight. So Stefano is not going to catch up that quickly. He has got a good straight line speed within that car, but he's got Skyline to contend with more than anything else. And as it stands, in my calculations, in my head, albeit not on paper, in my head, it's going to be an 82-point gap between Tom, Kazizel, Shizou, and FER going into the final race of the season, and with only 56 points available, that will be 2 hands on the title.
Indeed, it is. It looks like an unassailable lead at this stage. We've got Atesh here, very close actually on the back of rotation. Is there anything audacious going on? My word. Oh, Gold Brown moment, if you've ever seen one. My God.
Nuth on the back as well. The TF10 man having to ride the storm, I think, from Atesh. He was caught on the outside curb there, coming out of turn number 19, and he's actually going to look for the move, maybe in toward turn 1. Nuth on the back of him. TF10 normally qualifying merchants, but look to the inside line. Normally wet merchants as well, and Nuth excelling in these wet conditions. Doesn't get the job done. The traction there for Atesh on the inside, on the outside I should say, turn number 1, and Atesh through, and he's in tonight. Nuth there in 10, doing a good job at this stage. Tom though leading the way, Kazizel in second. Tom, I think, has been told, probably in the party that Shizou are in right now, you have got provision in the championship. Stefano and Devon, they need a safety car to get back into contention. They need all hell to break these quite literally ahead for FER, and ideally, as it stands, they need something like 5th and 6th to stay in contention, and there is not a hope in utter hell that that is going to happen. From the FER perspective, it looks game on now for Tom and Kazizel. Even if we finish as it is now, and even if the game crashes or anything like that now, 75% race distance will be full points, so therefore the results will be taken as it stands, as Keki doesn't want that P11, he wants that P10 to the outside line, in towards turn number 12, tries to hang it on the traction, on the outside, gets caught on the curb, Nuth forces him out there to dry, Keki on the inside on though, coming back through 13. Newt now through 14. Still going to be side by side. Into the left-hander at turn 15. This will be great move, and Keki can pull this off. Newt though to the inside line. Switches it back to perfection. Keki though, the outside line of turn 16 will help him. Is he going to switch it back to the inside? Newt just position his car to absolute perfection. And that, as he has a huge snap, lets Keki back in here, in towards turn 19. Now gets the switch back out of turn, in towards turn 20. This is surely job done for Keki. To the inside line, Newt will have traction on the exit. It's still side by side between these guys. Phenomenal racing between the NLR and the TF10 teams here. Stefano's not too far off this either. We're going to take it from his perspective. Newt on the back of Keki, lunges it back down the inside and towards turn 1. He wants to make sure that position is his. Keki though wants to make position that's sure his position. I'm falling over my words, I don't care. Keki though, surely into 10th, and he does. Keki through and he's into 10th. Absolutely brilliant racing. One of my all-time favourite battles. Tom now dropping, because this is outside of a second. They don't have to worry. They've got 3-second penalty behind them. But Keki and Newt, marvellous racing. NLR and TF10, hold yourself very, very high with that battle, as rotation now is on the back of Grozny ahead.
Absolutely love wet weather conditions for exactly this reason, but as you said, their rotation right on the back.
God,
Atesh! Oh, Atesh, indeed, coming from the back. Can he make this work? Really spectacular move there for the Red Bull, but he can't get it on traction. But that battle, coming back to that battle, I mean, brilliant stuff. Keki and Knut, maybe something you wouldn't expect. NLR Keki, eSports Challenger's reserve driver. Have you heard about this? Did you know it? I bet you didn't, but now you do. As got a Ferrari coming at the back. Stefano as well on Knut. This is going to be close. Atesh now to the outside. Will he make this work? He's still on the outside. He might have the inside line into the next corner if he can hold it, but he just about can't. He's still on the inside line though. But I think now it could be very difficult to get this done. Traction for rotation might be stronger.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Atesh has got that job done. How has he got that job done? 90% of the times, drivers to the inside line of turn 15 normally don't come out on top. That was just marvellous from the VAR man. Rotation there down at 9. Keki there and 10th, and Pepe. Has he gone for DRS on Grozny? I don't know what's happened there, but Grozny, I'm not sure if he dive bombed him to the inside line of turn 20. Whatever happened there, Grozny 6th, Pepe in 7th. Pepe dropping down the field, and Keki to the inside line of rotation. Now forces the move on the FRL man. 2 laps ago, no more safety calls or VSEs in this race to come. Rotation hangs it to the inside line of turn number 2, just pushes Keki out to dry, and rotation stays 9th. Keki though trying above most to try and get the job done. This though is actually perfection for Stefano as Pepe and Grozny. I'm not sure with that if they've got damage. Certainly holding up the big train. Stefano all of a sudden beginning to get back into this. FPL could sneak a few points out of this.
And rotation just picking up a penalty too, so more positions to be gained, looks like, for the boys in red. I think Keki is right on the back of that Alfa Romeo. Will he make anything work here? That was very, very late. I don't think he was actually meaning to go for it. Slight contact, but no harm done at the moment. Whoa, there's rotation. Did he pull that aggressively over for slipstream? I don't think so.
No, I think it's to try and defend the position, and we could get 3 wide, at least 2 wide, as Nuke backs off. Keki then run the outside of FRL rotation to the outside line at turn number 12. Hangs it on in there. Rotation falls up on the curb. Beautiful job. Rotation had literally the Red Sea's worth of gap there to the right hand side of trying to defend as Atesh forces the move on Pepe to the inside line at turn 15 as well. This race has gone hell for leather. What is guaranteed though? Shazoo 1-2, and what is also guaranteed is Atesh and Pepe making contact through turn 16. Nuke now trying to go side by side with rotation. They're 3 wide in towards turn 18 for goodness sake, and that's not going to end well. Atesh falls off track, catches the curb on the inside. Keki rejoins circuit as well. Keki's now ahead of both of them, rejoins track, and Pepe and Atesh. This is not good, and rotation is now side by side, and they're 4 wide down the straight. 4 wide down the straight. I wish I had a better camera angle than this. Move to the inside line. It's not going to prove the impossible. Is it going to work? 4 wide and towards turn number 1. How on earth they've got through there? And look at Stefano now on the outside. This is mad. There's 4 wide through turn 2. Something is going to give.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of penalties now. Stefano's got one, and now this was the craziest sequence of racing I've ever seen. Hands down, it's still going on. Oh my word.
Stefano forced off track there, I think, as well. Devon now is side by side with his own teammate coming through. This is getting absolute chaotic. There's going to be a lot of stewards penalties coming this way. That is absolutely guaranteed. Devon on the back of Stefano on the back of Skyline. What is certain in this race? It's going to be a Shizou 1-2. They're going to wrap up the championship no matter how you look at it, unless Stefano and Devon somehow pick up like a 10-second gain in terms of their time penalties. Stefano, though, breezes past Skyline to the inside line, down in towards turn number 12. Is Devon going to follow suit as well to the outside line of turn number 12? My word, you can tell my voice is going all worthy, I think, for this cause, as Devon looks to the inside line and Skyline, and actually goes to the inside line of his own teammate, to the inside line, tries to get the job done. This will be brilliant if can pull this off. We'll have to go to the race leader though, Tom, coming through the final couple of corners. Shizou going for the photograph, and in the end, they're going to be side by side through the final corner. Who's going to take the win? It's Tom to take the win. Kazizel in second, 900ths in the end, separating them. They wrap up the championship for EML Premier 1, absolutely well deserved. Kart Racer there in third, Gustav there across the line, spinning across the line, and spearing across track as well to finish there in fourth. Nuth on the run to the line behind Pepe, finishes there in 10th. Absolute mad ending to that race. Devon and P11, Stefano P14, that is not enough for them to wrap up the championship or to even gain on Shizou. Tom and Kazizel first and second. They got the photograph in the end. Tom and Kazizel first and second, and Shizou are provisionally EML Premier 1 champions. And after that race, absolutely well deserved because they controlled that race brilliantly.
No shadow of a doubt indeed for the two. Fantastic race today. 1 and 2 for the whole way through. And can you argue against that? Fantastic stuff.
Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed. Chav saying there in the comments, PSGL F1 sort of content there. Definitely so. Keki, by the way, did you know he was a reserve driver for F1 Challengers? That's coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks' time. We've seen the absolute goats of the divisions here. It was fantastic to watch out for and fantastic to watch. But Tom, out on top from Kazizel there in second, Shizou 1-2, they'd be very happy. And given the controversy that surrounded the Singapore race 2 weeks ago, that just comes to show who Shizou are at the end of the day. When they are good, they are really good. And that is fantastic to watch. And that is how you bounce back from Singapore.
That is, I mean, it's a beautiful job. It's about as well as you can execute 1-2. And as you can see there, Tom, Kazizel, 1 and 2, 1/10 of a second apart. Two drivers is among almost the only drivers now to not pick up a penalty. Fantastic stuff. Great pace all the way through. They've controlled this. And what a deserving provisional champion they are.
Definitely so. Let's just wrap up what happened in that mad ending to the race. Tom takes the win from Kazizel in second. Kart Racer there in third. My word. Gustav in fourth. How's Rotterdam fit from 16th on the grid? ET8. Absolute goats in terms of their strategy. They pulled it off brilliantly. Grosny there in sixth. Keki in seventh. Atesh in 8th. Pepe Vogel there in 9th. Nuth there in 10th. Devon in 11th, Rotation there in 12th, Yuri in 13th. Stefano would have been a lot higher if he didn't mess up his strategy. FVR should be very, very disappointed in that. Markador's there in 15th, Phoenix in 16th, Grosjean 17th, Scott on 18th, Oliver in 19th. The only safety car of the race caused by Mustache, who crashed out, of course, through the final couple of corners out through down in P20. My word, I'm going to go blue screen for a second because I know for a fact they're wanting an interview from myself, so I'm going to bring them in to the top. We may as well, and they've wrapped up the championship as well, so we have to, I think. We have to try and get them in. Of course, I'll just go through the play together screen on my end, so bear with me. Who was the top three again? It was Tom, Kazizel, and Kart Racer. Where is Mr. Kart Racer? Where is Mr. Conway? I'll give him an invite anyways. I'll give them all invites into the party. There we are. They've all been added. So that means that we can hopefully hear at least from 2, maybe even 3, all the top finishers as we can. Speak to the man in the end who finished in P1 and just about in the end finished 900th clue because this will taking the photograph opportunities. I'm absolutely sure in that. But it's Tom who takes the win here in America. And Tom, you did a fantastic job in that race, controlled it throughout. Talk us through it, because it really, honestly, never looked in doubt for Team Shizou 1-2.
I'm very happy with that. I set myself out to win today because I like USA and I had good pace, and I won, so can't get better than that. Cheeky championship victory and got to win across the line with Kazizel. Nice little
championship victory indeed, and I think that the culmination from 2 weeks ago, Jensen and yourself, of course, in Singapore with the controversy that surrounded that race, that is how you bounce back from Singapore, and that is who you show really who Team Shazoo is all about, because that was just utterly brilliant.
Yeah, well, it was questionable to say the least in Singapore, but well, it's not my decision, is it? Yeah, it just made this week look ever the better, because we had to do more to finish the championship off, but you know, we were aiming to win it this week anyway, and we were aiming to get the 1-2 as well, because we missed out on that last week, or last race. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, and obviously with that 1-2 finish tonight, wrapping up the EML Premier 1 Championship, must give Shazoo a big sense of achievement, I think, in terms of what has been, honestly, a really good battle between you and FER.
Yeah, well, it's obviously been good with FER, but yeah, I think it could have went better for us. That sounds horrendous that I'm saying that, because we won the bloody championship, but you know, it hasn't been an ideal season for us with, like, for me personally, races like Austria where I got ruined, but then we had good races like Bahrain, and yeah, it was a good season overall. And I thought, I don't know if Shazoo have actually done EML before, so maybe that's a debut victory for Shazoo.
I think it is a debut victory. I think it's the first season that they've had in EML Premier 1, so it even caps it off even better. That is absolutely sure. Do not want to be going down that route, of course. Alex, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
From my side, I just have to say, congratulations. What a fantastic drive. I mean, there was absolutely nothing going against you two. And just one question, because from us, the commentator's perspective, the qualifying session was absolutely crazy, and no shadow of a doubt. Yet you still got a 1-2 out of it. Just how are you feeling in that situation? Because so many were heading out on the wet, some on the intermediates as well, but you two still had the edge over everyone.
Yeah, well, we knew, like, we had decent bankers on the board, both of us, but obviously it weren't going to matter at the end of the session. So for everyone on the grid, it was really all or nothing, and the delta on the inters with like 2 minutes to go was going down so quick, and it was like 1.5 seconds. So me and Kazizel both just went for it, because by the time we, you know, done the outlap on that, it might be faster, and turns out it was a lot faster. And I think it was only Kart Racer and Gustav maybe that went for it, and we obviously got our laps a bit better than them. So it was a nice one too, and the inters obviously helped that go to strategy call.
Yeah, I think it was the top 4 covered within 7/10 or so, and then the next driver was about 2.5 seconds shy. That's the gaps that we've had, and yeah, crazy to see really in such a quality session. Congrats to you, Tom, for that victory. Very, very good stuff, and over to you, James.
Yeah, and final question from me, actually, because of course we have the wrap up of the championship now. Going into the final race of the season, pressure is off. What is the Shazoo goal going into the final round of the championship?
I think the plan is to send Joey and Ron in for a laugh. The managers, maybe Francie, maybe Simon. I don't know. 2 of the 4.
I was going to say Francie. Yeah.
They're gonna go give it their all. We're all gonna cheer them on.
To be honest, I'd love to see. I'd love to see Ron racing out on track, because that would be absolutely brilliant to see. He's a GOAT of PSGLF too, so I'd love to see him on track next week. But yeah, Tom, fantastic race from your perspective. Enjoying America again, and you can enjoy your evening as well.
Thank you guys. Excited to watch the commentary back.
You are very welcome indeed. It was a mad one. It was a mad one. Trust me. Finishing in P2 as well. Out on track, of course. It is Mr. Kazizel and Kazizel. At the end of the day, I was a little bit controversial by saying you normally bottle under pressure, and normally seeing that bottling under pressure. Stefano was right there with you in that first half of the stint. You managed the pressure really well, though. Talk us through it.
What pressure, James? But
Oh.
That's why I'm in the comment box.
I can't lie, the first stint was a bit scary for me, because I think I made a bit of a mistake with setup, and hence the car was really hard to drive, to be honest, for that first stint. So for the first stint I was just holding on for dear life, And luckily, I think Tom was like really good, just keeping me in DRS. That really helped. And then obviously we had the pressure from the guys behind. And to be fair, the guys behind were rapid, especially on the straight. Those guys were probably like 3-4 k's an hour faster than us, so I had to really be careful about that. But at some point, I think his tyres started to fall off, probably about lap 9-10, and that just gave me the breathing room to be able to sort of, get control back of, what was happening.
Yeah, we honestly were questioning Stefano in terms of his driving style as well. Either trying to play a bit of peekaboo, I think, down in towards turn number 1 on occasion. Were you ever threatened by Stefano before his tyres went off?
Well, yeah, my heart a few times when I saw that red proximity indicator show up into turn 1. But yeah, I feel like he had a few. I think he had a go in after the long straight into the left-hander, I think, or something like that. So there was a few times when I was like, oh, it's getting a bit close, but I think he was actually quite low on ERS as well, so that also gave me a little bit of an advantage. So when he got a bit too close, I could, just give it a little bit of ERS out the corner, and yeah, that just got me the gap I needed to just try and stay ahead, because those mediums were quite a bit faster than us, and to be honest, I was struggling for, the first like 9-10 laps.
Yeah, I think it was through the first sector of lap 9, if I'm not mistaken, where the tyres I know they're starting to fall off, and then you gain that 2/10 gap, and then you gain that breathing room, which was really crucial in terms of your long-term strategy as well going forward. Talk us through, of course, that late safety car as well, from your perspective, because you were controlling the lead, 1-2, the rain starts falling. Was it a well-timed safety car, or was it just the worst-timed safety car ever in the history of safety cars?
Well, to be honest, I was on like 76-70% tyre wear on the front because of the setup we was using. So I just needed to pit, and when that safety car came out, it was just a breath of fresh air because I thought my tyres were going to blow up. And it wasn't raining hard enough to the point where you can go on inters. So at that point, I think if the safety car hadn't have come out, I would have had to stay out probably a lap longer, and by then, I'm probably on 83-84%. So at that point, it's a bit of luck of the draw, especially with these sort of games. So, I feel like, especially because of Tom being ahead and, getting held up in the pits, I feel like the safety car actually really helped us out. And, I feel like it really helped us solidify this P1, P2.
Yeah, and that solidification, of course, of that P1 and P2 puts the pressure off, of course, going into next week as well. Alex, any questions?
Actually, no. You've said everything that I would have thought about as well from my side. So all I can say is, of course, it was. I did point out as well. It was actually my first time seeing you race. So you very much underlined the metal that you're really racing in. PSGL F1, of course, not for no reason. I think all that's left to say from me is also congrats to you. Of course, it was pole in the quali session, P2 for the team. I think it feels pretty much like a win with the side-by-side crossing the line. Must have felt great. So congratulations from my side, and brilliantly done throughout the entire season.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome indeed, and the shifting focus, of course, goes to Brazil for next week, if anybody was wondering, on the 29th of March for Tier 1 and indeed for Tier 2. We can now speak to the man who, I've got to say, controlled his race very well from an LR perspective. Finishing there in third, it was Kart Racer, and Kart Racer, of course, you weren't going to have the pace of the two goats ahead of you in Tillman Kazizel. Finishing there in third, though, you must feel very, very pleased, especially given the pressure that was put under in the first half of that race.
Yeah, well, you basically said it. The main goal was basically to stay in the DRS of Team Shazoo, and keeping the position. It was quite an interesting race. Basically with the rain and the safety car, which probably came just about on the right moment there, and some interesting overtakes from the other drivers, but basically nothing to complain about, and was a really nice race.
Yeah, it was a really nice race, a really nice controlled race, I think, from your perspective as well. You had Devon and Stefano around you in the first half of the race. They obviously were going to be quicker than you. You did a phenomenal job, I've got to say, to keep Devon certainly at bay. What was your thinking going into the second half of the race, and when you realised that safety car coming out?
Yeah, the main goal obviously was to defend my position, and Stefano's tires were going off quite dramatically in the end, and I had a really good tire wear, I think.
Yeah, and that tie where, of course, that suited you really well, certainly in that second half of the race. I'll hand you over to Mr. Non-Bias Alex the G. Alex, any questions?
Kart racer, my man. What a strange perspective for me to be asking you the questions now. I think great stuff from you. I, of course, had flashbacks to our PSGL race here. And, yeah, I have to ask, after that qualifying as well, you were one of the few. I was one of the first drivers I've spotted to go on those intermediate tyres. And did you think at that point in quali you could be challenging up there? And, yeah, what was your outlook on the race, I would say, at that point?
Yeah, well, the delta on the Inters was going down quite dramatically with like 3 or 4 minutes to go, and well, I bottled all my laps on the wet, and I had no fuel left, so I had to pit, and I just saw that the Inters were dramatically going quicker, and yeah, the last lap was well my one and only lap, and yeah, it was quite good.
It was a good gamble in the end. I mean, it was pretty much what you had to go for, and yeah, showing the NLR flag sky high up there behind the two champions. So congratulations from my side. Great race.
Well, thanks.
And final question before you go there, Kart Racer, as well. From an NLR perspective, Brazil next week, how do you think the team's going to get on around there? Because you are still in that P3 battle, of course, in for that battle for P3 in EML Premier 1.
Yeah, well, the best possible thing will be a 1-2, but I don't think that's quite easy here, and yeah, we need to score the most points possible, so give it everything into the last round and hoping for a very good result there.
Well, you never know. If Ron and Frankie race has been said from the Shazoo lineup, potentially NLR might pick up a 1-2 certainly next week. That is maybe guaranteed. Who knows? Brazil, I know, is a good track for the NLR team as well. Go and enjoy your evening, Kart Racer.
Well, thanks. You guys.
You are very welcome. Indeed, and that rounds us up very neatly for tonight. A big thank you, of course, to Tom, to Kazizel, and to Kart Racer for the interviews. Much appreciated. They, of course, take time out of their lives so they can bring a little bit of analysis, of course, in terms of their race, which is fantastic to hear about. Indeed, big news hot off the press as well. TML F1 not happening tomorrow night. If you haven't seen in the Discord, well, probably haven't seen in the Discord, TML F1 is no longer happening on a Thursday night. That is because the season has been cut short, and speaking of NLR Phoenix Swan wrapped up the championship in the end for the Thursday championship for TML F1. If you're wondering about TML F2, that remains unaffected. So TML F2 will continue to happen on Friday night at 8 PM UK time. It'll be myself and Mike, hopefully, in the commentary box this week as well, if I'm not needed elsewhere for WR console tier 1. But if I am, then of course you will have Mike in the commentary box. But yeah, TML F2 is going to be live on Friday, as well as EML Challenge Cup. I believe it's round 3 of the championship coming up, if I'm not mistaken, for this week. And I believe Steward reports have just gone in for actually EML Challenge Cup, and I think we are in, if I'm not mistaken, Austria for round 3 of the championship. So Spielberg, PSGL F1 have been there tonight as well. Very, very, very interesting race, I've got to say, from the PSGL F1 perspective. But Austria track that, of course, we absolutely love on the PS side, the PC side, and the PC guys get to experience that, of course, out on track. And even bigger news as well, Esports Challenge Cup is coming to PS as well. I'm not sure if I'm meant to announce this, but it is coming to PS as well. The format that has been decided is 3 25% races, and this is going to be on Wednesdays at 7 PM. I'll give you the date in a second. It's Bahrain, Britain, Austria first week, and then for rounds 4 to 6 it is Belgium, Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi. A who's who of great tracks, I've got to say, there from the Esports Masters League on the Challenge Cup side for the PS. 19th of April and the 26th of April are the 2 dates in hand. We're going to be sorting out commentary in the background for that very soon. I know I'm going to put myself forward for that as well, which should be really good. And with 6 tracks, of course, Alex, for the drivers and for the teams to obviously take in, it could be a really, really good night of racing, providing that A, they control themselves, and B, they race fairly.
First of all, that 6 tracks and 6 sprints effectively as well. 6 25% races. It's got all the potential to be super exciting. And for all I know, I'm going to tune in. And yeah, I'm going to be really, really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. That is hot off the press, and that is a month's time. So if you are wanting to sign up for that, I believe sign-ups, if I'm not mistaken, are open for the PS Challenge Cup. Tease, I know, is just putting there in the chat right now his entry. I'm absolutely guaranteed. He's listening to this in the background and putting that. We've already got, by the way, Race Concept Racing, Victus Racing Team, Elite Racing Team, and IRT also involved as well, International Racing Team, along with VIR, who you've seen tonight as well as Tease, who I'm pretty sure is part of, and I'm going to have a quick look. FER.
I want to say FER. Yeah.
FER, he's the PS manager for FER, he is indeed. And, by the way, that is a bit of further note. There's a £5 entry fee if you do want to get involved. 20 teams. Don't get me wrong, 20 teams are going to be involved. And there's going to be one driver for each team. Every single race, which is going to be interesting. It is a charity event as well. And all of that is going to be going, and I had the privilege of selecting the charity for this as well. It goes to the UNHCR, which is of course supporting Ukraine right now in their fight against, of course, the Russian aggression there in Ukraine. That is a fantastic cause, I've got to say. I know it's personal to my heart as well, because my girlfriend and her side of the family have actually helped people in Ukraine before the war started, even before 2014 when Crimea, of course, got invaded. They used to take little kids from Chernobyl, in fact, on holiday to the UK. It was only, I think, for 2 weeks, and they used to take kids who were being affected, obviously, by Chernobyl and by the surrounding villages. Pripyat, I know, as well, was mentioned. And that is really personal, of course, to my heart, and hopefully it's all personal to your heart in Ukraine's fight against the Russian aggression. And, of course, we all have to say Slava Ukraini, which I hope was not mispronounced, but Slava Ukraini indeed, and hopefully we get to see the outcome that everyone here in the West is expecting, and that is, of course, Ukraine to win and Russia to be defeated on the battlefield. Never thought I'd end off the stream like that, to be honest, but big caveat, I don't really mind. But yeah, FER have just got their sign up in as well, so we've got 6 or 7 teams currently signed in, so hopefully it is going to be a fantastic event, all in the name of UNHCR, and it's going to be one-shot qualifying, 25% race, 1 driver per race, and that means there's going to be 3 drivers a night, so there's going to be lobby changes in amidst. And the first 20 teams to sign up will be guaranteed to play, so you do not want to miss your entry whatsoever. That will round us off very neatly indeed, though, for tonight. A big thank you to Mr. Alex the G for joining me in the commentary box. I know we've waffled on quite a lot. We're not going to waffle on anymore, I promise. Thank you so much for watching, and until Brazil, of course, next week for EML Premier 1, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.